What's happening, everybody? Hopefully, audio is coming through. Hopefully, you can hear us. Welcome to the draft. It's me, Drubert, here, joined by the one, the only, me, Patel, Mipa, and we're here to bring you a little off-season draft action. How's it going, me?
Good, good. I'm excited to go ahead and get this going. We've had a lot of people asking, a lot of people curious, what team am I going to be on? But our last A-Dam tourney was a huge success, so this is a little bit of a variation on that. This is A-Ram 100% random, so, people with champion pools, people with flexibility are really going to be valued in some kind of a kind of format like this.
They it's certainly going to be an interesting format. All right, we're getting some audio. Looks good in the chat. That's nice. That's nice. Actually, they say they want more me. So if you
Yeah, I
want to turn
turned myself
yourself
up
up,
a little bit.
people want more me. Yeah, I'm excited. Shout out to everyone who participated in that opening credits ARAM video. Shout out to Talia for coordinating it. That was up in our game in this off season here. But yeah, I don't know. I am trying to picture if I was a captain drafting, where I would even begin because this is truly ARAM. So I feel like all bets are off. Like flexibility, I want to say is the name of the game.
Yeah, not just flexibility, just like pre-existing synergy, right? Because one of the most important things in team fights is just kind of knowing what people are going to do. So you might see a lot of that kind of come through in this event. People drafting maybe teammates they had in the past or close friends. Maybe they haven't got a chance to play with them, but they have played a lot of normal games because team fighting really is the core of Avram. That's all it is. It's one giant team fight, right? There's not really like a laning phase per se. So just going off of instincts and playing off of each other is going to be super huge. So we may see that kind of pop up a little bit, especially for a lot of players that have been in past tournaments together here at Odyssey and within other tournaments as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely exciting. Reminder for everybody at home: if they weren't here for our last mascot-based off-season tournament, captains you see up on the screen, we're going to go through. They've already chosen their mascots, so we're not going to have back and forth bids, but we are going to show you what they paid in this first round, and then we'll reveal which mascots are going to which captains. So first round will be pretty orderly. It'll just be what captain bid, what mascot they picked up. And then once we get into round two, that's kind of where you're going to see the dollars start to fly and it be a little bit more chaotic because that is going to be actual live drafting as the captains go back and forth trying to secure the absolute best team that they can with the money that they have left. So should be a lot of fun. Should definitely be a lot of fun. If you've never been here for auction draft, it is definitely one of the most exciting parts of the season.
Yep. And like like Drubert said, this is mascots. So just want to stress this first round kind of already happened and they've already bid, and whatever money is left over will be what they have to build their team. So you'll see a different strategies kind of arise. Some people are going to go all in on the mascot round because they feel like the available mascots are super, super strong, or there's someone that they really want to play with. They might like their team logo. I don't know. People put value on a lot of different things. And it just means that you have the rest of your budget to kind of build your team out.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it looks like they're ready to go right now. So we're just waiting on kind of last little rumblings, last people trying to strategize, figure out what the deal is. But again, this first round will just show what people have paid for their mascots. Whenever that comes through, we'll be able to see, what the strategies were, who's got money left. Because word on the street is some of these prices vary a decent amount.
that's yeah. I think that is that is what we're hearing on the street as it is. So you can see we'll kind of walk you through how the sheet works as we go through this first round. So you can see currently on the block is Pyro. So that is the player being nominated for auction. And then you see Anna paid $15. Again, there's not going to be back and forth bids. So Anna gets Pyro, and that's how much she paid. In the live draft in round two, you'll see the current bid kind of bounce between players there as they bid back and forth. And so we'll just go on, so on and so on until all teams are rounded out.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Ooh. So,
just instantly you gotta drop it in there.
$115. Yeah. So as you can see, Anna got Pyro for 15 in the mascot round. And you can kind of already start to see some of that discrepancy here. Revenger is picking up his former teammate here, uh, reuniting the championship duo here. $115. That's a pretty penny, but he does get Thrasher as his mascot.
Yeah, and I believe would be the fourth team in a row that he's played with Thresher, because I know they were on Feather Friends together. I know they were on Feather Friends together. I'm pretty sure they played on Pyro's Aggressive Wolves together.
No, no, Revenger was on my team, DCC.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, he
Okay,
took
so
a brief hiatus.
there's a little bit of a break, but the two really want to play together. Revenger just dropping on the wall. He knows that people are gonna bid on Thrasher,
Yep.
especially because he's actually ineligible for the main tournament now. So if you want to get your your Thrasher hours in, this is the only way you can do it, and that comes at a premium.
This is the only place you can do it.
This is the only
Uh,
place you can get your daily dose of Thrasher in a tournament.
Indeed. You can see King will have quite a bit of money left over, getting Troll there for $5. And so you can see something to pay attention to is in the kind of on the right hand side next to the captain's names under summary, you can see what their maximum bid potential is left. And so you can kind of track that as we get into the live draft. Revenger can spend up to $75 on one player, whereas Kublai right now could spend 185. So that's definitely going to be important to watch as we get into the nitty gritty of this.
Yeah, and even though it looks like the disparity there, King has 185, and then Thrasher has a whopping $110 less, right? There's so many players in this tournament with the longer it goes on, Revenger has the possibility to kind of find some gems, some people that have kind
Yep,
of slipped under people's radar, and the amount of money that you spend on your players does not necessarily assign the value to your players. It's just how the draft played out.
for sure. And like you called out in the opening, um, it's a different type of drafting you want to do here than in Summoner's Rift. You're not drafting for strong lanes or like maybe mid jungle synergy per se, but you really do want to draft a cohesive team fighting unit if you can. Um, so, I mean, if it was me, I'd probably be looking for someone who can play engage, someone who can play backline. You really want to think like this is just one big team fight. So, how can you get the players that are
Yeah, and
gonna be able to
like you
play
said,
what you need?
and I just want to stress again, just so everybody knows, this is not like ADAM. Teams will not be drafting their champions. This will be ARAM. It'll be randomly generated champions that they can play, and it'll simulate rerolls, everything. So it'll be almost exactly like just playing ARAM as if you were just
Yep.
hopping a 5 stack with your friends. So somebody who can kind of play all those different champions, somebody who could, maybe take one for the team, get put on, a Gragas game here when they're usually playing more carry oriented champions. Somebody who has that ability is really, really valuable in something like this, especially if you need to round out a team comp. There will be times where the role comes out perfectly. Everybody gets their main, and then you take the win, right? But there's other times where that flexibility is really going to be needed. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's valued in this draft.
See Azuka picking up Talia there for $50. Which, if you're playing along at home
That's
and
50%
following
off.
what's left, yeah, 50% off from what she went for in the last tournament she played in. Which means, by my calculations, Kaiduck's going to go ahead and pick up yours truly here, and we'll kind of see what the captains have spent on their mascots from top to bottom, and then we'll get ready to get into the draft.
Yeah.
You're already seeing some disparity, right? Like, look at these prices; they kind of vary wildly at this point.
Yeah, and that's kind of just the nature of this first round, right? The less mascots that are available, the kind of less people want to bid on them per se. But that doesn't mean X mascot is better than this other mascot. It's just really some of these people kind of came in with a plan and they were really targeting people and they put a premium on that. But there's a lot of things to consider here, right? Gerbert, you got paired with a former teammate, Thrasher and Revenger, former teammates.
Yep.
Anna and Pyro, also former teammates a little ways back, but they've played a decent amount together. So that's something we kind of talked about a little bit, but definitely is going to be valued going into a chaotic, environment that is, the Howling Abyss.
100% here. So we're about to get into the live draft here, and we'll be waiting to see. Anna will kick us off with a nomination. Is kind of a lot of strategy into who you nominate too. Sometimes you nominate a player that you really, really want on your team. Sometimes you nominate a player you think someone else really wants on their team, to kind of force them to spend through their war chest as it is, leaving you with easy pickings for the players you actually want. So kind of a lot of mind games you can play as a captain here, and Anna will have the first crack at it to put someone up on the block. And as a reminder, this is now live drafting, so you're going to see bids potentially flying from all our captains. So
Yeah.
we're going to play close attention.
Yep, there's no script here. This is all 100% live, and Exodus is going to be the first nomination right out of the
Yeah.
bat. Anna nominating a fellow member of the Atriox, or not fucking Atrox fanboy, fangirl club, the
And no
Atrox Appreciation
surprise,
Club.
money is flying here early. As where you can potentially see the dollar difference. King Kublai can just outspend everybody if he wants to reunite with Exodus.
Yeah, and if,
Um,
if if you're smart as other captains, you are gonna make him pay that premium. You're gonna make him decide how much he wants that.
yeah, you almost need to you know, you're in a spot where if you want to make him spend as much money as possible to get Exodus to kind of level the playing field as we go into some of the later rounds here. So we see just about every captain here, save Sio and Ajuka, getting in on the action. $32. I was going to say $32 feels like a low bid. I suspect these numbers are going to continue to climb.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a slow start here. People are trying to feel out whether people's strats are, the increment's not going up too high, but it's
Yeah,
definitely going to, I think, pick up once people start kind of figuring out how aggressive people are gonna be with their money.
yeah. $40. There's the 41. And remember, there is it's like a true auction. So some of these pauses, they're going once, going twice, and they're just they might be waiting a bit of mind games there too to the last second to kind of up the bid. We cross the
The $60
$60
mark.
threshold. I expect these numbers to keep going. I think King is going to probably end up with Exodus, but he's going to have to spend probably quite a bit to do so.
Yeah, and lucky for him, he has the money to do it, and he has a decent amount of padding compared to where everyone else is. Anna, the only one that can really really contest those upper ranges, but
Yep. I mean, when you look at the max bids, like in theory, Anna can drive this up all the way to 175. So she could basically ensure that King has to pay upwards of his entire budget for this if she desires.
yeah, and Exodus is one of those people that if he gets, like he has a super wide champion pool, right? He can play whatever you really need of him. But if he gets something like that Urgot, that Aatrox, that Quinn even on ARAM, it's just absolutely, absolutely devastating to play into because of the amount of champion mastery that he has on the champions like that.
Yeah, kind of a double whammy because a lot of people don't know. I would say I've seen him play. Obviously, top lane is what he's known for in the server, but I've seen him play the occasional ADC as well. So
Yeah.
that flexibility can really come in handy. But yeah, it's kind of if you have someone who like one tricks a champion or who is very strong on a champion, uh, sometimes the RNG can just win you an entire ARAM match if it comes up with their pick.
Exactly. But I think that right now it looks like just drafting players who can be these massive carry threats early in the draft. King putting a massive price tag there on Exodus at $90. Um,
That's what he's going to go for. $90
yeah, I feel like Anna
over.
Anna really knew that King wanted him, and she made him pay, which is a very very valid strat to go in, just like right
Yeah.
off the bat, set the tone. Uh,
Yep.
but
That's a bit of smart captaining there. So she's taking the money leader in King Kublai and supplanted him with herself. So now Anna has the theoretical top bid in the lobby. So I really like that opening nomination from her.
Yep. So The first player drafted here is Exodus Trolls Chimp Crusade with 3 players now, with Exodus Troll and King Kublai waiting on Revenger's nomination to try and make it another 3 for one more team here.
Revenger's in kind of the opposite position of Anna.
Exactly.
He has the lowest money of any captain in the lobby. So it's going to be curious like who he nominates because everybody can outbid him. And so puts Jimbo up. Kind of another person who you can't play with Jimbo unless it's in the off season right now tournament. So maybe Revengers is getting all the players who
That's a
graduated out
strategy.
right plus. It's a good strategy, but I don't know if he'll have the money to pull it off, to be honest.
He's at max bid now, so if anybody bids over this, it's just he's just not gonna have anything left. Let's see, is there any bid that's gonna come through?
It's a good core if he gets Jimbo here.
That's
Um,
crazy if that goes through. Oh my goodness.
that's a insane
Yeah,
core.
so
Thrasher,
now
Jimbo,
now if
Avenger.
you're a Revenger here, you have 2 really mechanical players on your team. You
Yep,
can kind of just wait until the last 2 picks and then just get 2 really flexible players that you
yep,
enjoy playing with.
yep.
2 people that are going to be super valuable to the team, and then for $5 each, you can kind of just have the team that you wanted. I'm so surprised that nobody contested that max bid because that's all the money that the Revenger had, $76, and he just wouldn't have got him.
Yeah, I think maybe there definitely every captain could have, if they wanted to, pushed him over the line. It could be a thing where every captain has their eyes on a different potential carry style player,
Exactly.
and they just want to Revenger out of the mix. So they say, let him go through. He's essentially sidelined now to the end of the draft.
Yeah, what's
And
interesting
Cop comes
here,
up.
what's interesting to me is CO hasn't really been super active in any of these. I don't think she's bid yet. So there it is.
Speak of the devil. Here we go. 36 for CO. Cop is a good pickup in a game mode like this. Another, he can play engage. We've seen him on Nautilus. He can play AD carry,
And
jungle champs.
Cop is just a fun person to play with. You can be down
Yes.
like 6,000 gold in the game, and then Cop is out here. It's fine, guys. I
Yep.
carry.
Yep. So this is a player I feel like from a personality standpoint, from a champ pool standpoint, really a big win if you can pick him up. High with the biggest bid, $50. And it ticks through. So it's going to go over to Kaiduck. He gets $50 in, Cop onto his team.
Cop also a former teammate of yours.
True,
So
true.
hey, the synergy is going strong here with DCC.
We'll have to see some wallets getting a little light here. CO nominates Luminous. Again, we're kind of seeing that synergy theme come to the forefront. Smoke already on CO's team, so you have to imagine picking up a Luminous would be high priority for them.
Yep. Those two are very, very close friends. And Lumi is also just another player that if he gets his champions, he's very flexible, right? But there's certain champions that if he just gets, there's a chance that the game is kind of just over on the loading screen. Stuff like the Aurelia comes to mind, the Vladimir, the Cassio. These are champions that are just so annoying to play into on Howling Abyss on ARAM. So if he gets one of those randomly, it's just not only is it difficult to play into, is that he's very good. It's just like it's demoralizing in the sense that he got his main, like how lucky of him, all that kind of stuff. So
For sure.
Lumi is one of those players that can really take over a match.
High comes in with 47. It's a pretty hefty bid. Will it go through? It does. It does go through. So Kaiduck, I feel that's a good pickup for $47.
Yeah.
Um,
Lumi has had some really good chain of tournaments. He won back when he was on Ogadai, his debut in a tournament like this, and ever since then he's had really strong showings. So I think that right now, Drewbridge Crushers Cabal is definitely looking at this area. I'm not saying that because at best they have a 4v3. I'm saying that just off of who they've drafted so far.
yeah, looking strong. Kai is going to be kind of in the Revenger camp right now with not a lot of money to play around with. Azuka here coming in with a $35 bid for Sedatin. Um, and I expect we'll see some dollars fly around here for Sedatin.
Yeah,
Another very flexible player, has a massive champ pool. Got to figure a couple captains have their eyes on him.
and you gotta think if that Senna, if that bot says Senna anywhere in a list for your team, Sedan's gonna be your guy there. That's unlimited souls there on ARAM, just gonna be an absolute monster if that game gets drawn out.
Yeah, we'll have to see. CEO has quite a bit of money to play around with, as does Azuka, as does Anna. So they are all looking for their first pickup beyond the mask here. Um, you have to. This would be a massive pickup for Trolls Chimp Crusade because that would reunite King Kublai, Exodus, and Sedatin. Um,
And Troll at Sedatin, they won
yeah,
as core together. So wow,
it
they're
is.
it
That team's
definitely
looking scary too. That
yeah.
team's looking pretty scary.
It definitely looks like pre-existing synergy players that they played together before is the name of the game for this draft.
We'll have to see. There are a lot of captains who don't have a lot of money to play around with. So now we're going to see some of the captains who haven't picked up a player yet really have a chance to go after who they want. Kyduk. It'll be interesting who Kyduk nominates here because he doesn't have a lot of money to play around with. So I am curious where his head will be at. Whoever he nominates almost certainly will go to a different captain, unless it's one of those under the radar players that maybe people don't have on their draft board, and Kai can just kind of sneak a player here under everyone's noses.
Yeah, so that's one strat. The other is just try and get people to use up not only their money but their team slots. You want less people contesting you as the draft goes on. Because if you think about it, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a whole nother 5 picks until he gets to nominate someone again. So if this goes and with the amount of slots that are left, that really only leaves a couple of actual team slots left to bid against them. So that could definitely be a strat that he looks for. Maybe a really, really high value player that he knows is going to go. Looks like
Cirque on the block with a $15 bid. Cirque, if I'm not mistaken, did he make his debut in last season? Or did he play one
I
season
don't
before?
think so. I think he was a free agent the season
That's
before.
right. That's right. That's right. And then we saw him really come into his own over the course of the last regular season. Kyduk with the max bid. So anybody who wants Cirque here can outbid him for $29. We'll see if a bid's going to come through.
Sark is one of those players again where the flexibility is absolutely, absolutely just key. You know, he has a lot of picks. He is a top lane main, but he has
Yep.
a lot of picks, especially those melee bruisers. Those champions, those are the things that he really, really enjoys to play. Stuff like the Gwen, the Mordekaiser, the Set. That's kind of his, call to fame there.
And we have our first completed team on the board. So Drubert's Croaksworth Cabal, captained by Kyduk. And you're seeing running down that roster Cirque, Kyduk, Luminous, myself, Drubert, and Cop.
Strong team.
Strong team. And with that, Kai's draft day is finished. He can kind of kick up his feet and watch the other captains here.
Yeah, and if you're Kai, you got to be really, really happy with how you allocate your money there. I feel like kind of getting Lumi for the price that you did, I don't think that's something that he really expected, but the fact that it happened enabled you to get Cirque, contest CO, who had a lot more money, so she could have really bid against him, but Kai, super, super awesome, spending all his money, doesn't have any money left over, 100% of funds allocated, peak efficiency.
Peak efficiency, nicely done. So we're back to the top of the order. You can kind of see everyone's maybe shaking off some of the nerves, resetting mentally, kind of looking on their draft boards, figuring out what their plan is going into the second round here. And our resident grandmaster player, former grandmaster player, the Kebab, aka Shoemaker.
He's the island of the kebab.
I only know the kebab. He's on the board, so we'll see. Anna with the $30 bid, King coming in with 50. That's almost his entire wallet. Anna did nominate him. She could guarantee herself the pickup. But you gotta wonder, is Anna playing more mind games, putting another player up here that she knows maybe someone like Ajuka will spend his whole war chest on, and then really leaving her with the pick of what's left? We'll have to see. We'll have
Yeah.
to see.
Right now, Ajuka is the top bidder. King was bidding against him, but can't do that anymore. It's gone to his max bid. $59 is the max bid. He can't bid 60. CO coming in with the 60.
Yep. Right now, like I said, Anna can secure this for herself if she wants to run up money. Ajuka would have second priority on Shu at this point with the $140 max bid in his back pocket. So we'll see. We'll see who wants to stay in. And it looks like
$65.
go over. Yeah, 65 for the kebab, going over to Talia's Twilight Tricksters. Ajuga's first pickup outside the mascot round, and we're immediately back into it with the $5 bid from Revenger. That's his entire well, actually no, that's his max bid. He can't go any higher than 5 because he needs 5 left over for his last player. And this is gonna be short, sweet. Nominate a Logros and you get yourself a Logros.
Hey, that's actually so convenient. So
Yeah.
Logo's going for $5, especially with the amount of money that Revenger had. You're super, super happy about that.
Yeah, you kind of sneak that one in under the radar. Maybe you notice he put it right up on the block after the Shoemaker round, so not giving maybe the captains a chance to reset, and just nominate it really quickly. $5 going once, going twice. Sold. Snyderman back after hiatus, back in the mix here. For those who haven't seen him play, absolute terrifying gangplank player. That's one of those if he gets it on Howling Abyss.
Yeah, in our last tournament, he was absolutely just taking over games in that 8M tournament on the Wukong.
Yes.
Constantly just disrupting backlines. One or two Lee Sin games that might have just absolutely ruined, a Squishy's day throughout that tournament. So
he very proficient in a team fight. Would be a good pickup and will be a good pickup for the Unstoppable Scuttles, CO and Smoke. I see what they're going with. I think they're going with like a S themed team. They got Smoke, Snyderman, and CO. I'm on to you.
yeah, and in the name,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little suspicious, a little sus.
A little sus. Little
Smoke's
sus.
Unstoppable Scuttles.
So we have Phaser up on the block, and bidding is away. CO did nominate this player. 30, 35 from Ajuka. CO will have priority over Ajuka if she wants to claim Phaser onto her squad. And there's always a possibility that Anna just comes in and drops a hammer at any point on any player moving forward.
It's so scary to just see somebody at the top with all that money just sitting there. CO as well still has a lot of money, right? Just seeing somebody with the absolute amount of purchasing power that they have just sitting there not bidding. It's so ominous, so scary. Who are they waiting for? What are they doing?
Well, it is really scary because you're over here in a little back and forth, and you're just always looking over your shoulder, like is gonna bid because
she's just sitting at the top laughing at everybody right now. She's got a plan and nobody knows what it is.
Yes. So Kyo nominated $5 from Ajuka. Looking around out his team here, the Twilight Tricksters, and we'll see who wants to play. CO, I know we'll have some pre-existing synergy, so you have to figure she's gonna be in for the long haul here in terms of bidding.
Yeah, I know Smoke and Kyo also are really, really good friends. And getting Kyo there for $6 is crazy. You have $123 for one more player on your team when you already have the players that you do is absolutely insane.
Yeah, good bit of drafting. Looking at that team, Kyo very flexible, Snyderman they've got a lot of good flexibility. Solid pickups for the Unstoppable
The big thing
Scuttles.
that sticks out to me is maybe outside of CO, they don't really have a huge mage player right now.
Fair, yeah.
CO, super awesome on the Ari, super awesome on stuff like the Lux, but they don't really have somebody who like is a mage player. Like when I think of mage player, I think of Lumi. I think of someone like Eli, someone who can really, really take over games on those mages. So that could
Yeah.
possibly be something to look out for, especially if
Well,
something
yeah.
like an enchanter comes up. Ceo's really the person to go for that enchanter, especially if your comp needs it. It's one of the champions that's been given to you. So having that mage player and the enchanter option is also something. So you really have an option of, is Ceo going to kind of take on that AP carry kind of role? Is she going to go more towards that supportive role in the draft? And she has $123 to decide what she's going to do there.
Yeah, she can basically fill that gap in her team with a $123 bid, like at any point. So if Basil is that mage player she's looking for, she can all but secure that. But it's actually going to go over. Basil's another really flexible player. Can play the mages, like we were saying. Can play a whole lot of useful stuff. We'll go over to Anna for relatively cheap, $15. So she is still our money leader at this point. Ronnie Letters, another player who was on hiatus here, $5 nomination. CO drops 10, and the bids are away. Ronnie would be a really solid if you want a backline attack damage carry playing person to kind of round out your team. Definitely could be a good pickup to get Letters here.
Yeah, I mean,
And
there's background carry, and there's also that Samira. I remember the Ronnie Samira.
yep, yep.
Like, and Samira is one of the champions right now. Super, super strong in the meta. Super, super strong just in ARAM in general.
The Chimp Crusade is the second team finished here, and that is we'll we'll do a double take here. If you're listening and you're like, is that the team? I assure you it is. So Troll's Chimp Crusade has Exodus, Troll, Captain King Kublai, Ronnie, aka Letters, and Sadatn to round out their team. That is absolutely terrifying. That is terrifying.
Ace getting brought up here. Former champion here with Ogendai and with Catalyst of Ruin. So, has some W's under his belt. Um, and
Indeed.
he was actually a captain, I believe. In the last ADAM, he was Piltover's finest. No.
Yes, he was. He was indeed. CO, some pre-existing synergy with Delta, Ace in the hole here, so expect her to keep bidding going, but we'll see if Ace goes over to her for $51. Definitely a strong player, not necessarily that mage player that you called out. So
Yeah, and if I'm
see.
if I'm CEO here, I'm just betting whatever I have. If I really, really want him, I'm going all the way up to the 123.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
seems
and
like
then you wait to see
Anna.
if Anna can match, yeah, if she wants to.
Yeah, because if you're CEO, you're either gonna get Ace for 123, or you're gonna make Anna pay 124. That's how it's gonna work.
Yep,
So I think doing anything other than that is a little bit of a blunder because it really doesn't make any sense.
agreed. I'll have to
So
see. Ace would be a really good pickup for Anna, I think. Pyro definitely can play the engage. Basil gives you that AP damage threat. Anna, super flexible, could play an 80 threat, but could also she can play pretty much
there's
anything.
the max
And
bid.
there's that 123 out of CO. Anna with the 124 will get Ace in the hole onto her squad. That's also looking like a pretty solid team coming together now for Pyro's Aggressive Wolves, looking to repeat here with a championship in the mascot themed tournaments.
Exactly, exactly. So basically what's gonna happen, you're gonna see in the next round is any player that gets nominated, if CO wants it, she gets it to round out her team. That's
Yep.
what happens here. So if CO really wants Solar, bang, she gets Solar, right? But Ajuka is
Yep.
going to nominate Solar here for the $5. Is anybody going to bid against him? Solar is another one of those players, right, where he was a support main. He was an AD carry player, super talented AD carry player, and then he could also play some of those mages, right? And we saw it a little bit in the TVR. He was willing to bring out the Casio. He was willing to bring out stuff like the Syndra, stuff that
Yeah.
most players in the bot lane aren't really willing to bring out. So Solar's massive, massive, massive. And in the last
Yeah.
ADAM tourney, his Renata, his Swain, those champions are so scary in a tournament like this.
They've got a really solid team from Azuka here, the Twilight Tricksters. We've got Azuka, the captain, Shoemaker, aka the Kebab, Phaser, Talia, and Solar Bear round out that team. Good damage spread, I feel like. Talia, very comfortable on the mages. Solar Bear, like you said, super flexible, could be that AD threat, could also play a lot of really useful utility. That's a good team as well. These teams are, I'm liking all these teams so far. They're all making sense to me. Eco nominated. Speaking of flexibility, we've seen him play a tournament as ADC. We've seen him play a tournament from the jungle position, and we're gonna see him go for $5 over to Anna, and that rounds out her team. Simple as that. Pyro's aggressive wolves. They've got Key, Basil, Anna the captain, Ace in the hole, and Pyro Blitz will round out the aggressive wolves. And we're down to just two captains left: Revenger, $5 max bid, and CO sitting with the
So
123
what's
max
interesting
bid.
is Revenger can either put a champion he really wants, or he can put up, you know, somebody that is CO wants to contest against.
Yep,
Chad, yep, 69, nice bid number coming out from
solid
CO.
bid, and that's gonna secure Dummy Thick, aka Chad, over
Good friends with
to.
Smoke too, so
Yep, that's a solid. That's a solid pickup. That'll round out the unstoppable Scuttles, and
no
we'll go through the.
Revenger with the final pick here.
Yep, he can actually take his time here, so he's got the entire remaining draft pool to kind of scan over, and can basically he's got a really solid team already,
And
so he can just pick who he
technically we
wants.
have the time limit, so he could just wait 8,000 years and we'll never get to play the tournament.
Exactly, that would be an interesting strategy. Salix on the block, $5, going once, twice. And that's gonna be sold over to Revenger.
And that's going to round out our 2023 summer season auction draft for the upcoming ARAM tournament. What are your thoughts on how it panned out? Some strategies that you kind of saw, maybe any crazy deals that kind of stick out to you?
Well, for sure, yeah. I think first off, what you called out, the pre-existing synergies, I think came through strong for a lot of these teams. So I think that was a really smart call out from you. Deals that I saw, it's hard to like. I go back to the Illuminous one. I know that was early on, but that felt like a steal. Felt like captains weren't quite ready to spend their money, and Kai was able to sneak that one out before anyone really knew what was happening. Um, I think there were a couple other ones that really stood out. I feel like Basil was a really good pickup. I feel, yeah, I don't know. When I look across the table, it's interesting because I thought that Kai drafted just a really monstrous team, and he definitely did. But then when you look at all the teams, everyone did a really solid job actually. Like as the team started to come together, you can kind of see the logic behind each of them and ways that they could find wins here. Do you think there's like a clear front runner? Because at this point, if I had to tip my hat, it might be the Chim Crusade that I give the early tip of the hat to, but it would only be slight. It would only be slight. So
The amount of championships on that team, it's kind of hard to look away from some of those names, especially when you've kind of reunited King, Exodus, and
mhm.
Sedatin. And then Sedatin and Troll, they won't be able to have that jungle support synergy that's so coveted in, ARAM, but they kind of know how each other plays and like the tendencies, right? Both are really strong engaged players. If that's something that that's the hand that gets dealt to them with ARAM. Another one that really sticks out, really all of them do. Like there are so many cool things that happen throughout this draft with players that went at certain points. Like I think Ronnie for what he
Yeah,
went for, a huge steal. Talia's Trickster's able to get Shoemaker, Solar, Phaser, Talia, like just and Ajuka, just the flexibility on the team, right? When you think about Ajuka, I think that might have been his plan going into the draft because he's somebody who is super willing to just pick up an AD carry, right? And like recently, he's been playing a lot of AD carries in ARAM, and he's also somebody that if the Malphite is dealt to him, he'll hit you with the AP Malphite, right? Like there's no limit to what Ajuka can do on ARAM, and you know the threat of Shoemaker, the threat of Solar Bear, and then Talia as well, and some of these mages. It's just that's a team where you don't really know what's going to go where. Even like, let's say you know perfectly what champions they're going to pick. You don't know who's going to pilot them, and they have all different play styles on those champions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. It's gonna be interesting. You can like theory craft how these teams are gonna want to play, and you can kind of picture in your head the ideal team comp or the way that they want to win these games. But then you have to remember there is that RNG component, and so much of these matches may just come down to what champions are available and how these teams can assign them to really get like the optimal potential out of the hand that they're dealt. So I know I'm excited. This is going to be a faster tournament than our regular season tournaments, but it will be quite a bit of fun. If you like team fights and action, there's not going to be a whole lot of slow moments that you're going to have to worry about. It's pretty much going to be action from start to finish, and I'm definitely excited. Definitely excited.
Yep. All right. And so that wraps up this draft for the upcoming summer season. If you guys want to go message your teammates, try and maybe get a couple ARAM games in. I know it's a clash night, but yeah, so that about wraps up all we have here today. I'm super excited to see you guys on the Howling Abyss. I'm excited to cast some of those games, stream some of those games. That's all that's from me. Drubert, you got any final parting words?
No, good luck if you are playing Clash, and look forward to the first stream where we see these teams take to the Howling Abyss and see what they're made of. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye, guys.